Some of you have heard some of this information before, but we do have some first-time attendees in the room. But I think even if you are an experienced member, a long-term member, it is important to hear some of this updated information. So just in terms of the group, in terms of the infrastructure, we've got around 950, 960 members globally. That number has remained fairly static. It's gone up a little bit, but it's remained fairly static for a period of time now. 155 jurisdictions, so truly global coverage. 70 different practice areas, and of course mainly encompassing the advisory, law, accountancy and finance groups. In terms of the membership itself, it's split fairly evenly, so you can see that we have around a quarter of the members in the US, a third of the members in Europe, 20% here in Asia, and then the rest split fairly evenly from Latin America, Middle East and Africa as well. So really good split. Of course, some of that is in mature markets, some of that's in emerging markets and new markets. So in terms of the group itself, it is in a pretty healthy state. In terms of yourselves as members, it is always important to remember to make use of the membership if you possibly can, and make sure that you have a plan. It's great that you're here at the events. We're always very grateful for your attendance, but the membership isn't necessarily just about coming to the events. Yes, the events are important, and of course we would always ask you to follow up with the people that you've met here, particularly the ones where you feel as though you've got the most synergy with. I always believe that if you go to a conference, there's probably 5, 6, 7, 8 firms or individuals that you feel that you have real synergy with. Those are the ones to make sure that you follow up with when you get home. Make sure you stay in regular contact with those. But in terms of the IR membership, remember that we do have a team of client managers, we do have a team of business development people, and it's their job to make sure that we're working on your behalf to make sure that you're using making use of all the services. And what I mean by that is make sure that we're publishing all of your news. So if you have any articles, if you have any updates, please make sure that you share them with us. We share them with the rest of the members on the weekly newsletter. It also goes across our social media platforms. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But as well, make sure that when you are travelling, that you're getting in touch with your client managers or you're arranging meetings. Because if we can set up meetings when you travel, it's really, really important. It's really, really important. And also, if people are coming to your city, make sure that you invite them around for a coffee or you take them out for lunch. The more time that you can spend with members, the better. So, yeah, as I say, maybe try and appoint somebody within your office as well. If there is somebody who can be responsible for the IR membership, I know that's not always possible. The majority of firms in this room are boutiques. But if you can appoint somebody within your office as an IR officer, I always believe that that's the best policy, whether that's an assistant or an associate, somebody who we can speak to on a regular basis to make sure that the membership is being used effectively. For us, how we position ourselves in terms of the engagement, we are very active on social media. You can see that we've got over 40,000 connections. Traditionally, we've always had a lot of connections in LinkedIn and Twitter, and they still remain the primary business platform. And also, we've seen a large engagement and an increase in YouTube as well. And that's how the market's evolving anyway. There's more video content than there's ever been. So we're heavily engaged with social media. And I think for your own perspectives, I think what is important is you want to be demonstrating to your clients and to prospective clients that you have a social media strategy, if at all possible. If you do have news, if you do have content, you want it to be seen by as wide an audience as possible. We do have a very large audience, and you should be making use of the services through us. As I say, you are boutiques, the majority of you, and what you need to be demonstrating to your clients is, look, yes, of course you can help them locally, but are all your clients aware that you're part of IR Global? Are they aware that you can assist them in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, wherever it may be? And so if you do have good content, share it with us, and we'll make sure that it's shared as well. And I think it's also useful if you do have a social media strategy, that you put our branding on your website as well. So if you have our logo, if you have, maybe you want to put it in your email signature as well, you want to create an international page, if you can do all those things, that's the kind of thing that you can demonstrate to your clients that you can assist them globally. And that's why you're part of a group such as ours, because you're trying to demonstrate to your clients and prospective clients that you are part of a bigger group. And in many ways, the millennials or young entrepreneurs, they are making judgments about your business based on your social media output or your media output. That's just fact. That's whether you like it or not. But there's many entrepreneurs, people who've grown up with social media the last 15 years, that's how they're making judgments on you, because if they haven't had direct experience or they haven't had a personal recommendation, the only thing that they can find out about you really is through social media. So please make sure that you engage with us. It is important. Now, we took the view at the beginning of the year that we would move to 4 events a year. So some of you were in Rome in January, I think it was. And obviously we're here now in Tokyo, and then later in the year we'll be in Chicago and then Amsterdam. The reason that we move to 4 conferences a year is that we prefer the smaller, intimate events. We prefer the conferences of this size, you know, somewhere, I think we're around 110, 115 people here. From the feedback that we've had over the years, the majority of members prefer the smaller conferences. They prefer the more intimate ones. We prefer them as well, actually. It's easier, it's better for us. But we have been selling out very quickly in the recent past, and we've had to turn away a lot of people, and we don't necessarily like doing that. So the way to do it is we've moved to 4 events a year, so we're going to permanently have one each year in the US or in the Americas, one permanently in Asia, and then the deal makers and the annual conference will be in Europe, and they'll be split fairly evenly throughout the year. So the numbers, we prefer them like this. We believe that that's the best way to develop relationships, because if you can develop relationships over the course of the 2 to 3 days while you're here, you know, that's what you're looking to do, because you are looking to go away with those 4 or 5 contacts where you believe that you can help each other and, more importantly, help your clients as well. So Chicago, the tickets have been on sale for a period of time now. There's about 30 left, 30 tickets left. So if you do want to go, please book quite quickly. Bob Fishman, he's going to act as one of our sponsor hosts in his fine home city. So if you have any questions about the conference or want to know a little bit more, Bob will be more than happy to talk to you. I guess the demographic will be slightly different to here, of course, being primarily a US conference. It's probably about 60% who will be US firms, and then the rest split, you know, fairly evenly across the globe. So if your firm has a particular business interests, or you're looking to connect with other advisors from the US, then this is a conference that I would recommend. So yeah, it's in a fabulous hotel right in the middle of town, great location. We've got some fab things planned, a nice river cruise, there's a mob tour, well as all the nice fun and the social stuff. You'll have seen from the conference from here and from previous conferences, for us, having the most amount of social time that you can spend with your fellow members is really the best philosophy for us. The small groups, the breakout sessions, the social sessions, they're really important. So the same philosophy will apply in Chicago. We'll have our breakout sessions and other fun things as well. So that's in July. After there, we will have our annual conference in Amsterdam. So tickets for this went on sale a few days ago. Some of you may be aware of it. Some of you may even have booked your ticket. The Amsterdam conference, the annual conference, is the only one that we make a little bit bigger. So this year, I would imagine it will be around 300, 350 attendees. Last year, we sold out really quickly. We got to 288 very quickly, and we had to turn away a lot of people, and a lot of people were not happy about it. And for us, if you're going to join an organisation, a networking organisation, you really should be able to attend the annual conference. So if you want to come with your colleagues, if you want to book, it's something that I would recommend. As I say, it is slightly larger. It's in Amsterdam. For many of you, hopefully you will know, it's actually Tom's home city. So he's promised me some surprises, some thrills and some spills. And we've got some fun things lined up. So yeah, it should be really good. It'll be the first time that we've got our Rising Stars program there as well. So these for the brightest and best talents. Tom will tell you a little bit more about that. But it'll have its own Rising Stars program as well as our own program as well. So yeah, it'd be great to see you there. For next year, what we have booked now is Miami in January. Now, for us Europeans, January is a pretty miserable month. It's also very cold. So we thought, okay, do you know what? We're going to go to Miami. We're going to get a bit of sun and get our T-shirts and shorts on. So we'll be going to Miami there. As well, of course, a lot of US firms will want to go to Miami to get some to get some sun. So yes, again, following the same principle, limited numbers, around 150, focus on doing business in the US, but it will also have more of a Latin feel to it as well. Obviously, Miami is well known for being the gateway to Latin America, and so we are expecting a lot of firms from Brazil and Mexico and throughout the region to attend. So again, if you're looking to connect with US firms or Latin firms, this would be the conference for you to go to. After that, this time next year, we'll be in Hong Kong. We haven't booked a venue yet, but we are talking to hotels. Then in the summer, we will have our Dealmakers Conference in Zurich. And then hopefully in September and October 2020, we will be in Paris. And we're just trying to negotiate and find the right property for us in Paris. It's difficult because it's an older city and because it's a larger conference. We may have to go to a conference facility as we are doing in Amsterdam. So in Amsterdam, we will be at the old Stock Exchange, which is a fab building. But we're finding it hard to find a venue, but we're hoping that it will be Paris for the autumn. So yeah, lots of things planned on the event side. Well, one of the best things that I think that we've done in the last probably in the last year or so, perhaps 18 months, and it's grown, it's been quite organic really, is the number of national and regional meetings that we've had. And I know that a lot of you in this room will have took part in that. The idea is that a member will host it in his office, ideally, or maybe in a local hotel. Members will get together for a day, maybe half a day. Maybe they'll do an excursion of a weekend and eat some drinks and some dinner. And the idea being is we understand and recognise that members from the same jurisdiction or the same region, they do have perhaps more opportunities than anyone else. So if you can collaborate with members from the same jurisdiction, of course you want to do that anyway. And we also recognise that even if you are two law firms or two accountancy firms, because you're boutique, you're not necessarily what I would class true full-service firms, so you do have your own niche expertise. You do have your little synergies with other firms where they're an expert in another field to yourself. And so if you can assist each other, that makes you again more attractive to your clients as well. And it's proven time after time after time that lots of members from the same jurisdiction or the same region are able to work with each other. And, obviously there's a natural synergy because we have the different types of advisors. So these are run by the members themselves. There's no cost for the member apart from, they might have to get a flight or a hotel and some food. But it's a great way for you to meet other members. And you can see this is just from the first quarter of this year. We've been where have we been? Istanbul, Santiago, San Diego, Miami, Milan, and we also had another meeting in Zurich and a few others. So they are incredibly popular. And what we're also doing for later on this year, yes, we're going to have some more regional meetings, but we're also going to start off with some practice area meetings as well. And the employment group have took the lead with this. So next week, I think in Las Vegas, there's the US employment members are getting together. Rebecca, I think you're going to that. Then Lionel has kindly offered. Lionel, where are you? Yeah, Lionel has kindly offered, and he's going to be acting as the host for the European employment lawyers. Again, obviously there's a natural synergy there, working in the same practice area. So even though we've been doing regional and national meetings up until now, we are starting to do the practice area meetings as well. So if you believe that that could work for yourself, then get in touch with us. We do have a framework in place. And as I say, they are proving to be incredibly popular. So a Scandinavian meeting, we have a meeting planned in Taipei in August. So of course a lot of you in this room hopefully will be able to attend that. And yeah, some of the other ones, German speaking meeting, Eastern European meeting. So you can see that we've pretty much got the globe covered. And for us, this is just final thing from me, our job is to connect you. Our job is to get you together. Yes, we do some great things in terms of technology and the website and the investment and all those great things that we do in the digital space. However, in many respects, this is an old-fashioned business. This is a people business. You want to meet people. You want to be able to connect with them, understand about their practices. Hopefully you like each other. And the best way of doing that is either at the conferences such as this or in these regional meetings. So this stuff works. Thank you. Now over to Tom.
Thank you, Ross. So for the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to give you a bit of an update on some of the recent developments and some of the things which you're going to be seeing coming next. So first up, I just really wanted to touch briefly on referral activity. I'm very happy to say we've seen a huge increase on all corners of the globe, which I think is fantastic news, especially seeing a lot of activity in Latin America and Asia, which, referring to what Ross was talking about, I think has been a result of a lot of these regional and national meetings and bringing members closer together. Of course, this activity we do share with you on our quarterly referral reports. I believe most of you are sharing this information with us already. For those of you who aren't, obviously, please do let us know. It's important for us to know who is active, who's working with who. And of course, with this knowledge, we can offer more support to you. Of course, when we talk about referrals, I think, just to repeat some of Ross's sentiments, it really starts with relationship development. So it starts by coming to events like this. But it also is important that you ensure you follow up on these events. It's not a case of just coming and going back to your day-to-day job, but ensuring that you are following up and continuing the conversations with those who you're meeting. I'd now like to just move on to our marketing collaborations for this year. Two of the most important ones you can see on the screen behind me. ACC, if you're not familiar already, is the Association of Corporate Counsel, and this is the world's largest in-house counsel organization with around 40,000 members worldwide. We collaborated with them last year on a publication, and due to the success of that, we've repeated this year. This year, we've just finished this publication, which ended up as a 70-page multi-jurisdictional guide to handling contracts, from negotiation to even handling potential disputes, which may come later. One of the beauties of this is not only do we distribute it to all their members, but we also ask them to actually submit their own contact details. So over the course of the last 2 years, we've now built a significant database of these in-house counsel organizations, or in-house counsel of organizations, so we're aware of who has interest within the group. And hopefully we'll be able to use this information later on in the line, hopefully at events, and enabling you to meet directly as well. Secondly, and I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with Legal 500, which is one of the leading legal ranking bodies. We obviously as an organization are ranked already, both on Chambers of Partners and Legal 500, but we now have a marketing agreement in place which enables us to publish all of our thought leadership pieces, all of the publications we create for our practice groups and our regional groups directly to their international audience, which totals in the many millions. So I think it's a very effective way for us to increase our branding within the legal community. To support this, many of you will know that we have a partnership with a PR agency called Byfield. Byfield are one of the leading PR agencies based in London. We've now been working with them over the last 2 years, and this is seen as featured in a whole array of different publications. Again, I'm sure many of you are familiar with a number of these titles. This is a really effective way for us to obviously raise the brand profile of IR and be seen as an authority for anybody who's interested in international business. You can now see behind me just a few examples, just to show the variety of topics which we're tackling. The three you can see here relate to blockchain, GDPR compliance, and also employee issues. But we've really covered a real whole array crossing many sectors and practice areas. And what we try to do is also engage you as members to actually act as the experts on this. So on many occasions, we will invite you to contribute. So what I do welcome, whether it's today or post-event, is if there are particular subject matters within your field which you see yourself as an authority or an expert upon, please let us know so we can inform the PR agency and we can then send these opportunities on to you. Next up, I'd just like to touch briefly on our member app. Of course, this does exist already on both Apple and Android. This is something we created around 2 years ago now, and there was a significant amount of time and energy and financial investment into it. We did see there were a few issues, so we've now streamlined the app, and this is going to be relaunched in the next month. So please, if you haven't already, please download. and we'll make sure you get an update when it is ready. Some of the functionality, which I think is important here, there's obviously the member search, which gives you quick and easy access to the full membership list when you are on the move or meeting clients, or you need to give a quick referral. Some of the new functionality and the things which we've added, which I think will be particularly helpful, relate to events. So first of all, it will enable you to get notifications and updates on programs and when event tickets go on sale. But I think more importantly, you'll have the opportunity to see who else is attending those events. So you'll be able to see in real time who else will be joining the same events as you. And the great functionality is you'll also be able to arrange private meetings via the app with these attendees. So you can arrange and schedule in advance to make sure you're making the most of your event experience. And this functionality can also be used when you're also traveling, perhaps to other cities or on different work assignments. If you are visiting another country, you can again arrange these meetings directly through the app. In addition to this, the newest functionality which we're adding, which we hope will be helpful, there'll also be a note-taking function on it. So when you do come to an event such as this, and you do make a connection or you have an interesting conversation, you'll be able to keep a record of these conversations and this information. So you'll have a quick access guide to the people you have had interesting conversations or potential collaborations, and that can all be stored in one place with easy access. In addition to this, those of you who were with us in Rome will obviously have heard about this already. For those of you who weren't, we also implemented this year deal teasers. Obviously, we're aware a lot of you see yourself more than just a traditional lawyer or an accountant. And what I mean by that is you're really working hand in hand with clients, not just to act on the legal or the financial issues, but actually being a partner or strategic partner in helping them develop their business. And as such, I think we've got such a large network, it's very beneficial if you can connect with other members and see what new opportunities you can create for clients. With this in mind, it's now possible for all members to update such deal opportunities within the members area. With this information, we now have a deals newsletter, which then gets distributed around the whole network. And any opportunities which are transactional of nature will also be shared directly with all members of our transactional groups, those being our M&A, commercial and real estate groups primarily. Finally, I'd just like to touch on a few new initiatives which we've implemented for this year. These are perhaps the three most exciting in my view. Rising Stars, Ross mentioned a few moments ago. As the name suggests, this is an opportunity for you to bring the rising stars within your firm into the IR network. It's an opportunity for them to expand their horizons, build their own international network, learn about cross-border opportunities. And I think it also gives you and your firm continuity in the network in future. So, of course, it's important that if you can't go to events, you have someone who can take over in that role. And as, again, Ross mentioned earlier, someone who can be also engaged in the network when sometimes perhaps you're tied up with other matters, someone who can step in and play a supporting role. So we will be hosting our first Rising Stars program in Amsterdam later this year, where we'll have a separate program running simultaneously. So if you do have any members you'd like to put forward, they're more than welcome to join. Secondly, we also introduced this year our think tank. And the think tank was born of the idea that we are only as good as the ideas we have in this network. And ultimately, these obviously don't all come from us. So we really wanted to get your views on new ideas, new initiatives which we're developing. And this is something which any member within the network can be part of. And when we are looking at new ideas or potential opportunities, this is something you can give your direct feedback so we can work hand in hand to develop the group together. And finally, you see the 10 Club, which is something very new. This is something which we've just implemented in the last month. The 10 Club is for members who have been to 10 events or more. We wanted to do something which really recognised the loyalty of these members. Those who have been within the network now for many years are really what we consider the driving force behind it. So when you have reached 10 events and you become part of the 10 Club, this will enable you to have a discount on event tickets, also your membership. And we'll also have a separate meeting at each event for members of the 10 Club to share their thoughts on the group development. So a private meeting where we can share ideas freely. You can talk about concerns or things you'd like to see in the network. And again, like the think tank, really be involved in the development, as that's vitally important to us. So that's actually it from me. So we're now going to take a break for lunch. Just to remind you, when we do return, you will be seated on a different table. So please refer to your name badge when you return. The food will be served just outside, but you are more than welcome if you wish to come back to the room to sit down. Thank you.